George Peppard's uncontrollable addiction cost him everything. George Peppard was born George Peppard Jr. on October 1, 1928, in Detroit, Michigan. His family background played a significant role in shaping his early life and character. His father, George Peppard Sr., worked as a building contractor, while his mother, Vernelle Rohrer, was a trained opera singer and a voice teacher. Vernelle's background in the arts, particularly in music, undoubtedly influenced George's eventual interest in performance. However, her journey to motherhood was fraught with challenges, as she suffered 5 miscarriages before giving birth to George. This history of loss and perseverance likely created a unique bond between George and his parents, particularly his mother. The Peppard family faced a serious financial downturn during the Great Depression, a period that profoundly affected many families across the United States. Their once comfortable lifestyle collapsed, and they were thrust into economic hardship. The strain on the family became so severe that George Peppard Sr. was forced to leave his wife and son behind in Detroit as he searched for work to support them. This separation from his father during his formative years may have left an indelible mark on George, instilling in him a sense of independence and resilience that would later define his career and personal life. Despite these hardships, Peppard persevered and went on to graduate from Dearborn High School in Dearborn, Michigan, in 1946. His educational journey, while unremarkable in a traditional sense, laid the groundwork for his later success in the arts. Peppard's introduction to the stage came in 1949 when he made his debut at the Pittsburgh Playhouse. This was a pivotal moment in his career, as it sparked his passion for acting and set him on the path to becoming a major Hollywood star. After this initial experience, Peppard made the bold decision to move to New York City, the epicenter of American theater and film at the time. There, he sought to hone his craft by enrolling in the prestigious Actors Studio, an institution known for its rigorous approach to acting training. Under the guidance of the legendary Lee Strasberg, Peppard immersed himself in method acting, a technique that emphasizes deep emotional connection to the characters an actor portrays. Strasberg's influence and the intense environment of the Actors Studio shaped Peppard's approach to acting, helping him develop the skills that would later set him apart in Hollywood. While pursuing his acting dreams in New York, Peppard had to take on a variety of jobs to support himself. Like many aspiring actors, he struggled financially during this period and had to be resourceful. He worked as a disc jockey, an experience that likely sharpened his vocal skills, and as a radio station engineer, which exposed him to the technical aspects of media production. His wide array of jobs didn't end there. He also taught fencing, a skill that may have added a physicality and grace to his later performances. Additionally, Peppard worked as a taxi driver and a mechanic in a motorcycle repair shop. These jobs, though seemingly unrelated to acting, provided him with real-world experiences that he could draw upon in his future roles, particularly in character-driven dramas. Peppard's film career began in earnest in July 1956 when he signed on for his first movie, The Strange One. Directed by Jack Garfien, the film was based on the play End as a Man by Calder Willingham. The Strange One marked not only Peppard's debut but also that of several other rising stars, including Ben Gazzara, Jeffrey Horn, and Pat Hingle. The film, shot in Florida, represented a bold entry into the world of cinema for Peppard, who was still relatively unknown at the time. His ability to hold his own among a strong ensemble cast was an early indicator of the star power he would come to possess. Following the completion of The Strange One, Peppard returned to New York, where he began to expand his work into television. His performance in the TV play Out to Kill for Kraft Television Theater showcased his versatility and ability to transition between mediums. His stage career also continued to flourish when, in September 1956, he joined the cast of Girls of Summer. Directed once again by Jack Garfien, the play featured a distinguished cast that included Shelley Winters, Arthur Stork, and Pat Hingle. It was also notable for its title song, composed by the then rising talent Stephen Sondheim. Peppard's performance in the production further established his reputation as a talented and dependable actor on stage. In May 1958, Peppard landed his second film role in Pork Chop Hill, a Korean War movie directed by Louis Milestone. The film, which was released in 1959, featured Peppard in a supporting role alongside an ensemble cast. His involvement in the project was in part due to his relative anonymity at the time, as Milestone sought fresh faces for the film. Pork Chop Hill was well received and helped to raise Peppard's profile in Hollywood, positioning him for more substantial roles in the future. Peppard's breakthrough role came in 1961 when he was cast as Paul Varjak in Breakfast at Tiffany's, a romantic comedy drama based on the novella by Truman Capote. Starring opposite the iconic Audrey Hepburn, Peppard's portrayal of the struggling writer and love interest to Hepburn's Holly Golightly became his most famous role. His good looks, elegant demeanor, and acting talent made him a perfect fit for the character. However, his casting was not without controversy. Director Blake Edwards initially did not want Peppard for the part, but the producers overruled him. Despite the behind-the-scenes tensions, the film went on to become a classic, solidifying Peppard's place in Hollywood history. Unfortunately, Peppard's experience on the set of Breakfast at Tiffany's was not entirely positive. He reportedly clashed with both Audrey Hepburn and Patricia Neal, who played another key role in the film. Neal later described Peppard as cold and conceited, and Hepburn is said to have had difficulties working with him as well. These conflicts may have stemmed from Peppard's serious approach to acting and his intense personality, traits that sometimes rubbed his co-stars the wrong way. Despite these challenges, Peppard's performance in the film remains one of his most memorable, and it marked the beginning of his rise to stardom. In 1962, George Peppard landed a career-defining role when MGM cast him as the lead in their epic western How the West Was Won. This Cinerama-produced spectacle was an ambitious, multi-part saga that featured Peppard's character spanning 3 different sections of the film, showcasing his versatility as an actor. The film itself was a massive box office success, bolstered by its star-studded cast and grandiose depiction of the American frontier, further cementing Peppard's status as a rising Hollywood star. It was a crucial stepping stone in his career, propelling him into the realm of leading men in big-budget studio films. This role not only highlighted his dramatic skills but also positioned him as a top-tier actor capable of carrying epic narratives. Following the success of How the West Was Won, Peppard took on another significant project, the war drama The Victors, 1963, directed by Carl Foreman. Shot in Europe, this film was an ensemble piece that focused on the lives of American soldiers during World War II, giving Peppard an opportunity to broaden his range in a more gritty, realistic setting. His performance contributed to the film's critical acclaim, although it didn't achieve the same commercial success as his previous work. During this period, Peppard was inundated with lucrative offers, including a staggering $200,000 for a role in The Long Ships, a Viking-themed adventure film. However, Peppard turned it down, reportedly because he didn't want to commit to filming in Yugoslavia for 6 months. A decision that reflected his selectivity and desire to maintain control over his career choices. Around the same time, he was also in talks to star in Next Time We Love alongside producer Ross Hunter, but that project ultimately fell through. Another indication of how unpredictable film production could be in Hollywood. In 1964, Peppard took on one of his most iconic roles, starring in The Carpetbaggers, a 150-minute adaptation of Harold Robbins' best-selling novel. In this film, Peppard played Jonas Cord, a ruthless, Howard Hughes-inspired aviation tycoon who also dabbles in the film industry. The role required Peppard to portray a complex and morally ambiguous character, further showcasing his ability to handle intense, multi-layered performances. The Carpetbaggers was a box office hit, thanks in large part to its salacious storylines and Peppard's charismatic performance. It solidified his position as a leading man capable of carrying major Hollywood productions and was one of the highest-grossing films of 1964. Shortly after, Peppard signed a new contract with MGM, agreeing to star in 1 movie per year for 3 years, beginning with Operation Crossbow, 1965. This World War II film, co-starring Sophia Loren, was a high-octane, action-packed thriller that focused on a secret mission to destroy Nazi missile installations. The film was a moderate success and allowed Peppard to continue working with top-tier talent and maintain his foothold in Hollywood. His contract with MGM indicated that the studio saw him as a reliable star capable of headlining major productions. That same year, Peppard starred in The Third Day, 1965, a thriller that was notable for being directed by Jack Smite and co-starring Elizabeth Ashley, who had become Peppard's second wife. The film's production was reportedly greenlit only because Warner Brothers had a contract in place with Peppard, showcasing his clout within the industry. However, the movie itself did not achieve significant box office success. Still, Peppard's on-screen presence was undeniable, even in films that didn't fare well commercially. Peppard's struggles as an actor often stemmed from his internal conflict between being a serious performer and a Hollywood movie star. Unlike some actors who entered the industry primarily for fame, Peppard had genuine acting chops and wasn't content with being just a handsome face. His desire for meaningful roles often put him at odds with the expectations of studios and audiences. In 1966, he starred in The Blue Max, a World War I drama about a German fighter pilot. Directed by John Guillermin and co-starring James Mason and Ursula Andress, the film was a massive hit and further solidified Peppard's reputation as a leading man. His portrayal of a driven, morally complex character struggling for personal glory at the expense of others resonated with audiences, and the film remains one of his most acclaimed performances. In the early 1970s, Peppard transitioned to television, starring in the Western TV movie The Bravos, 1972, alongside Pernell Roberts. Though not as high profile as his film work, it showcased his continued relevance in the industry. That same year, Peppard returned to feature films with The Ground Star Conspiracy, a science fiction thriller co-starring Michael Sarrazin. Shot in Canada for Universal, the film allowed Peppard to command a hefty fee of $400,000, underscoring his value as a bankable star despite the fluctuations in his career. Peppard's next major project was Newman's Law, 1974, an action-packed film in which he played the titular role of a tough, rule-breaking cop. Originally titled Newman, the film was an attempt to capitalize on the popularity of gritty crime dramas. Around this time, Peppard was winding down his time on the television series Banasic, a popular show that had bolstered his career. After Banasic ended, Peppard sought to take a break from acting to focus on producing and directing. He had several projects in mind, including The Total Beast, a film he hoped to helm. This period marked a turning point as Peppard sought more control over his career, signaling his ambition to move beyond acting into other creative areas of filmmaking. In 1977, Peppard starred in the science fiction film Damnation Alley, which has since garnered a cult following. Originally, the role had been offered to Steve McQueen, who turned it down due to salary issues, which left the door open for Peppard. The film had a hefty budget of $8.5 million, a significant sum for the time, but its production was fraught with issues. Peppard later revealed that the director Jack Smite's original cut of the movie was wonderful, but studio executives re-edited it, resulting in a version that did not live up to its potential. Despite these challenges, the film has endured as a favorite among sci-fi aficionados, and Peppard's involvement in it remains a key point of interest in his career. As the 1970s wound down, Peppard found himself with fewer roles that truly interested him. In 1979, he took matters into his own hands, acting in, directing, and producing the drama 5 Days from Home. This project was a deeply personal one for Peppard, reflecting his desire to have more creative control and make films that resonated with him personally. Though not a major box office success, it marked a new chapter in his career, demonstrating his multifaceted talent and determination to remain relevant in Hollywood on his own terms. In 1992, George Peppard embarked on a theatrical tour in The Lion in Winter, where he portrayed the powerful and complex Henry II, opposite Susan Clark, who played Eleanor of Aquitaine. The play, a classic historical drama by James Goldman, gave Peppard the chance to delve into one of the most iconic roles in theater, offering a rich exploration of power, marriage, and family dynamics in medieval England. Playing Henry II, a role known for its intensity and depth, allowed Peppard to fully immerse himself in the character's personal and political struggles. The tour reignited Peppard's passion for acting, especially in live theater, a medium that demands immediate engagement and emotional connection with the audience. Reflecting on this experience, Peppard expressed immense joy and fulfillment, stating, "I haven't been as happy as I am for a long time. When you find a part you are right for and you love, it's a source of happiness, believe me. If I could have my wish come true, I'd spend the next 2 years doing nothing but this play. This statement reveals just how deeply The Lion in Winter resonated with Peppard, underscoring his dedication to the craft of acting. It was a rejuvenating period in his later career, one where he found renewed purpose in a role that both challenged and fulfilled him creatively. Peppard's last television role came in 1994, just months before his death. He guest starred in an episode of the popular courtroom drama Matlock, titled The P.I. This episode was significant not only because it was his final appearance but also because it was designed as a backdoor pilot for a potential new television series. Peppard was set to star as a private investigator alongside Tracy Nelson, who played his estranged daughter. The show's premise centered around the father-daughter duo working together as private detectives, blending personal drama with crime-solving. Peppard's character would have been that of an aging detective, whose experience and world-weariness contrasted with his daughter's younger, more energetic approach. The chemistry between the two actors was meant to explore themes of family reconciliation, generational differences, and the evolving nature of relationships between parents and their adult children. Tragically, the episode aired just 8 days before Peppard passed away, and the planned series never came to fruition. It marked the end of Peppard's long and varied television career, which had spanned decades and included some of the most iconic roles of the era. Peppard's personal life was as tumultuous as his career was varied. He was married 5 times and fathered 3 children. His first marriage was to Helen Davies in 1954. And the couple had 2 children, Bradford and Julie. Despite their divorce in 1964, Davies never remarried, and their children remained Peppard's longest-standing familial connection. Interestingly, Helen Davies only appeared in 1 film, preferring to stay out of the limelight that often accompanied her husband's Hollywood lifestyle. His second marriage, to actress Elizabeth Ashley, lasted from 1966 to 1972. Ashley was Peppard's co-star in The Carpetbaggers, 1964, and The Third Day, 1965, and their intense on-screen chemistry translated into a passionate, if volatile, off-screen relationship. Together, they had a son, Christian, before eventually divorcing. Peppard's third marriage was to Sherry Boucher, a realtor from Spring Hill, Louisiana, from 1975 to 1979. Boucher later remarried John Lytle after her split from Peppard, moving on to a new chapter in her life. His fourth marriage, to Alexis Adams, also known as Joyce Ann Furby, lasted from 1984 to 1986. Adams was a bit-part television actress who, like some of Peppard's other ex-wives, never remarried. His final marriage, to Laura Taylor, lasted from 1992 until his death in 1994. In 1990, Peppard candidly remarked, "Getting married and having a bad divorce is just like breaking your leg. The same leg, in the same place. I am lucky I don't walk with a cane." His string of marriages and divorces reflected the challenges of maintaining personal relationships amid the pressures of a Hollywood career, and his comment highlighted the emotional toll his romantic entanglements had taken over the years. In 1978, Peppard confronted one of his greatest personal demons, alcoholism. After years of struggling with alcohol abuse, he decided to take control of his life and seek help. By his own admission, he was deeply ashamed of some of the things he had done while under the influence of alcohol. Reflecting on his battle with addiction, Peppard stated in 1983, "I knew I had to stop and I did. Looking back now, I am ashamed of some of the things I did when I was drinking." His decision to quit drinking marked a turning point in his life, and he became actively involved in helping others who were struggling with similar problems. Peppard's journey toward sobriety not only improved his own well-being but also allowed him to use his experiences to support others in their recovery. This commitment to helping fellow alcoholics showed a side of Peppard that was deeply compassionate and community-oriented, qualities that were often overshadowed by his public persona as a tough, charismatic leading man. Peppard's health, however, remained a constant challenge. A lifelong heavy smoker, Peppard had consumed up to 3 packs of cigarettes a day for most of his life. In 1992, he was diagnosed with lung cancer, a result of years of smoking. Following the diagnosis, Peppard underwent surgery to remove part of one of his lungs. After the operation, he made the decision to quit smoking, a habit that had been a central part of his life for decades. Despite quitting, the damage had already been done. Lung cancer continued to affect his health, and although he had moments of improvement, it was clear that his body had suffered greatly from years of smoking. Yet, even in the face of serious illness, Peppard remained active in his career, continuing to work on various projects. In 1994, just before his death, Peppard completed filming the pilot episode for The PI, a series that was meant to revive his television career. Despite his deteriorating health, Peppard's dedication to his craft was evident, as he continued working until the very end. His performance as an aging detective reflected both his personal struggles and his enduring passion for acting. On May 8, 1994, George Peppard passed away from pneumonia in Los Angeles. At the time of his death, he was still battling lung cancer, but it was pneumonia that ultimately claimed his life. Peppard's death marked the end of an era for a man who had left an indelible mark on Hollywood with his diverse and memorable roles across film, television, and theater.